Hey guys, Joe with Carmel Cardio, and today I'm going to be taking you through an install on a Ford F-150, to be exact, it's a 2002. The applicable years that are identical to this truck, even though it's a 2002, it'll go all the way up to this year and this year. So if you guys have any of these vehicles here, between this year and this year, that's an F-150, this will be the video for you. So in today's video, we are going over the customer's radio that he has brought us. We are supplying him with the harness, and we're also using the dash kit. If you would like to know the numbers of the dash kit for pack, it is FMK 552. And then this one is a Raptor harness. You can do it through Metro harness or pack. They're all the same. This one does not have steering wheel controls. Does not have beepers, not backup camera, nothing like that. So we're getting away with a very basic harness. If you want to know the Raptor number for this harness so you can buy it at home as well, it's RAP-FD-5001. This is going to give us everything we need. And then obviously we have our mic that goes with the radio, and then the harness that's already on the radio here. The tools that you're going to need more than what I have here, but for your fundamentals, your wire strippers, I like to use mechanicals, gives me more precise precision over it. Flush cuts, Testa tape, and your Super 33 Plus tape by 3M. Do not buy the white tape, do not buy the colored tape, do not buy anything cheaper than the Super 33 Plus. It will fail, it will come undone, and it will look like crap. Let's get in the car. Ooh, some blue steel. So what I want you to do is go on Amazon. I can even link it down in the description below. Type in 20-piece radio removal tool set. This is going to give you a tool set to remove all sorts of radios and all different cars: Skoda, Becker, BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, so on and so forth. Main one you're looking for is this one here. Shouldn't cost you but maybe $2 for this set of tools. On this factory radio, when it comes, you have a hole here and a hole here on the left side and another hole on the right side. So if you ever wonder what that's for, it's for this tool. You push this in and you wait for a little click. You don't want to push it all the way in. You only want to push it in maybe about that far, and you should feel it click if somebody has not messed with it prior to you getting into it. And then once you get those in, you feel the nice little click. Pry it like so, just a little bit, releases the tabs, and then you slide the whole thing out. But this is an aftermarket radio. It's already been installed. So what we're going to do is totally different from what I just explained. This is the pry tool that I like to use, and it is very sturdy, doesn't leave a Mars on the dash because it's so fat, and honestly God, I love this tool. If you're looking for the tool, the part number is PBFT10 by Blue Point. Costs you $20. And you come underneath the bottom of this radio. So if you look here and here, we're going to just put this right up underneath, kind of slide a little bit, and we should be able to pry this out from the dash. You don't want to use a ton of force. These dashes are very brittle. You're going to have one plug, obviously, that I'm caught on right here. That's for the passenger airbag. And to be honest with you, I'm going to just let it hang right here because that plug is a freaking nightmare to take out. This just pressure fits itself into the dash, and that's how your new kit will be as well. You gotta unplug the antenna, unplug his harness. So whenever you have your factory radio, you're gonna have one plug, which is this black plug that's plugged into it, and it is really stiff way back there. Okay, and then you're gonna have your Motorola plug, which is your antenna plug that plugs into the radio. Unplug this one and unplug this one. And why that one is so far back and underneath everything, I don't know. It is just really stiff back there. Now we got the old radio out. We got the old harness out, which honestly we can keep and we can test. I am going to cut the zip tie he's got here. I personally don't like using the bell caps that they have here. Yeah, you'll never see them. You will never see what's behind the dash. But to me, I don't like the aesthetic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because we're going to be using the harness for a different radio and we don't need this one. Cut, cut, cut. So here's his old harness. I'm gonna leave that right there. Come back to it. And then you got a bunch of wires coming out of this thing. So I straighten out the wires to where the lengths are the exact same. I find my lowest sitting wire, and then I just come through here and make it all even. Okay, so now that my wires are all the exact same length, what we're gonna do is you can test for constant, if you still have constant, and test for ignition, and make sure the speakers are good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my front left speaker, which your front left will always be white, and white black. White black being the negative, and white being the positive. Your solid color will be your positive, your striped color will be your negative. So what I'm doing here is I am stripping back the front left speaker, the ground wire, the ignition wire, and our constant wire. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take black, which is your ground, we're gonna send this to your white. I plug this in and I test that I've got constant. I like to just pop the speaker a little bit. There we go, speaker's working. Now for my ignition, obviously I've got nothing because my ignition is turned off. But as soon as I turn my ignition on, now we know that we have ignition, we have constant, those are working, and my speaker's good. Highly recommend that you use a multimeter when you do this. I've done this for so long. I know what the pins are, I know what the colors are, I know that this is safe and not gonna blow anything up. But with that being said, let's hop back onto the box. So I went ahead and did the same thing with the harness that I did in the car with the aftermarket harness, made all these the exact same length, make it a nice and pretty, straight, even harness once I'm done. So now that I've got both my red wires the exact same length, so I've got them crossed over, I wanna take them, twist, and then once I got them twisted, I'm gonna start wrapping over the wire and do the same thing on the other side. So now you've got a solid connection. I can pull on that all you want. That's how I'm going to do every connection on this harness. I want to take my Super 33M plus tape, break that off, take that tape, put it right here over the edge, put your thumb there and pull. Put your finger down, pull, and pull, and keep doing that until it's nice and tight. Don't just slap it on there and have a bunch of gaps. That's gonna stay solid. Hit it through the heat, hit it through the mid of the summer, it's gonna stay on there, it's not gonna fall off, but once I'm done with that, I'm gonna wrap it with Tesa tape to ensure it all holds. And if you really wanna get nice and fancy with it, once you're done, put one zip tie right in the middle to hold everything, and then use your flush cuts to make it nice and solid. This is the difference between the T-taps and crimp caps and so on and so forth versus having it taped and Tesa taped to make it look like it's factory inside the vehicle. You'll notice I have these two wires running off the harness for this radio. This radio is a Pioneer. It wants to see a ground input for your e-brake, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a toggle switch in there so it toggles it to ground, toggles it off, toggles it back on. This way he can have access to his Bluetooth settings and doesn't have to fiddle with a broken e-brake if they have a broken e-brake. This is a simple fix, or you can buy a TR1 and it does the same thing. It doesn't have to use a toggle switch, it automatically does it for you. This is just cheaper and I have this available to me. So now it's time to run the microphone. This right here is your door seal. You can just grab it and pull that thing off. So once you pull this down, now you have access to run that wire. The headliner is pretty squishy on this to where it's got give. It's not squishy headliner, but it's got a little bit of give. So I don't have to take this whole A-pillar off. If you run this over, you can take this wire, tuck it in between the headliner and the A-pillar, give ourselves a little bit of slack, push that headliner up, tuck that wire, and then push it up again, clip that microphone, and there we go. Microphone is in the A-pillar. Now I'm just gonna run this down the A-pillar, get it to right about here, hold your thumb, and slowly push this back into place. A lot of people will take this mic and they'll run it down and then they'll just run it back behind the dash and run it over and shoot up. But then you got this big old wire that hangs and just, well, looks completely out of place. You can do that. You'll never see it. Me personally, I know it's there and I don't think it's right. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna run it down, run it further back into this kick, run it underneath the carpet, run it to the center console area, underneath the radio, and run it up. That way you'll never see it, it's out of the way, and it's not just dangling, it's ran with other wire. We've got the radio harness set up with the switch, and we got the radio in the dash kit. It's literally just a pressure fit dash kit, so once we pressure, it'll snap in. What I want to do is I want to run this switch, running this here with the harness. I want to run it to the glove box so he can just on, off, on, so on and so forth. Love these old trucks. Let's find that harness that's way down there. Bring it up. Plug that in. Got a harness. Plug it into the radio. And this radio is too freaking big. Great. Too good for your home. And I'm gonna have to cut. I'm gonna take this off. All right, so we're gonna get the camera up close and personal here in just a second, but what I'm gonna show you is with the double DINs, we actually have to cut this dash because that DIN is bigger than the hole that the radio slides into. The sides we're not worried about. It's the top that I'm worried about because the reason I got this back on is to see exactly what areas I need to cut. The bottom I can't cut anymore, that's a support bracket. So I'm gonna take my oscillating tool here, but we do want to cut that lip there so the radio can fit in. And then you're going to take out that 7mm or 8mm, I haven't really checked it yet. You're going to take those two out. It's fun. You cannot get this double DIN in there with this plastic. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut this plastic out here and here on both sides, and it cut right there, and this whole piece eventually will brittle itself out and you can take this whole stuff that's blocking the radio out. Be very careful when you do this. Do not nick those wires that are right behind the dash. All right, cool. Got that pushed in, plug this back in. Is it the absolute most beloved kit that I've ever worked on? No, it's not. I don't like it. But it gets you your double DIN in there, test it, and would you look at that, it's working. All right, I'll make sure I actually hooked up my speaker wires properly. And sure enough, I got sound. This thing gonna need speakers. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a pretty lengthy little install. If you guys have questions, comment down below. I'll be more than happy to get to them as soon as I can. With that being said, have a blessed day. I'm gonna get this out of the shop and start on the next project. I'll see you next time.